Hello Gemini, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business and over 30,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Gemini, to this particular video on your cycles and predictions for January and February 2015. Everything I say to you here, Gemini, is designed to help you to become more of who you really are. I've got 145 YouTube videos up there on all aspects of personal and spiritual growth, and they've had more than 250,000 viewings now by tens of thousands of students worldwide. So it's nice to have this opportunity to be able to be of service to you, Gemini, and to help you to understand yourself more. First of all, I'm going to tell you a few things about yourself, your personality, and lifetime conditions and circumstances. It's important to understand that this is a lifetime situation that I'm going to describe to you. So some of the things can be for the past and not a part of your life anymore, Gemini. Some can be for the future and therefore difficult to relate to. So maintain an open mind towards the things that I talk about. And bear in mind also, Gemini, that I don't have your horoscope chart in front of me, so it's going to be different if you're 18 years of age compared with if you're 65 years of age. So maintain an open mind, and then I'll look at the cycles that you're going to be living through in January and February from the movements of the faster moving bodies. So just sit back and relax and enjoy the journey with me, Gemini. You know, you are a very dual personality. The symbol of Gemini are the twins, and you feel your duality more than anybody else. There's that duality between your higher self that always leads you on to become more of who you really are, and the lower self that wants to drag you back into the past and habit patterns of behaviour that you feel as if you've outgrown and so forth, but can't seem to shake off. So there's that tremendous duality between the higher self, the soul, and the personality. And you feel it more than anybody else, Gemini. So there's a feeling of two people in the one body, and it's sometimes a bit disconcerting for you. Now, you're very security conscious, and you find your security through family. Family is very, very important to you. Family unity, family cohesion, and family love is very, very important to you, to give you a sense of security. So it's very, very important for you to feel as if you belong to a family unit, and that is where you get your sense of security, not just financially but also emotionally and mentally. Now, you seem to be the centre of attention a lot in conversation and communication. You're a proud person, and you do like to be the centre of attention in conversation and communication. You're a very proud person when it comes to motor vehicles. You like to have the latest model, and if not, you'll have a push bike or something which will be the latest model or latest motorbike and whatever, you know. So you're a very proud person, and whatever motor vehicle that you do have, you keep it nice and clean and look after it. And you seem to enjoy a lot of social activities with relatives and with neighbours as well. You get on well with the locals around you in terms of relatives and neighbours. Now, you have domestic pets around the home at some time in your life, and you're very meticulous about cleanliness around the home. It's very important to you to very fastidious about the cleanliness of the home and the family and the domestic side of life generally. Must be a nice presentation there that you're putting on for everybody. And you seem to work from home at some time along the way, or you bring work home to do it at home. And you could work in real estate at some time in your life, and you could work in the domestic field in some form or shape. And you seem to enjoy a lot of social activities out there with the general public as well, Gemini. So you like going out to restaurants and places of amusement. Public parades are very important to you. You like to feel as if you belong to the community. So public parades and shopping malls and things like that, and group walks and all that type of thing. You enjoy all that type of thing. Now you seem to have a few secrets connected with the job, as if there's money coming from the job that's you don't pay tax on, cash money or whatever. And there's a sense of secrets there also connected with the people that you work with. They tend to confide in you, and they tell you a lot of things about themselves which you feel as if you must keep that to yourself. And there can be some involvement sexually with somebody that you work with or meet through the job at some time in life as well. Your spouse or your partner, should you have one, was perhaps born distantly from the place of your birth. Well, that gives you an idea anyway, a little bit about your personality there, Gemini, and a look at the circumstances and conditions on a lifetime basis for you. Now what I'm going to do for you is to look at the movements of the faster moving bodies. We're going to look at the movements of the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars as they move through the houses of your horoscope. As they move through the zodiac, the signs of the zodiac, they also move through the houses of your horoscope, Gemini. And as they do, they bring about certain conditions and events in your life. So I'll describe that for you, okay? Now I'm going to put it on a timeline for you, Gemini, so that I'll tell you where they all are at the 1st of January. And then I'll tell you when one of them changes into a different sign and therefore into a different house in your horoscope, and what sort of impact that has, and then the next one that makes a change into another house and so forth. So it'll be on a timeline for you, Gemini. Now to start the month off with the 1st of January, the Sun is in the 8th house of your horoscope. Mercury is also there in the 8th house of your horoscope, and Venus is there in the 8th house of your horoscope. Now the 8th house is the house of introspection and reflection, so you are experiencing a lot of introspection and reflection at this time, at the beginning of the year. A lot of deep thinking about aspects of your nature that you're trying to eliminate and get rid of. Venus in the 8th house is beneficial for joint finances that you share with a partner, should you have one in your life. Mars starts off the month in the 9th house of your horoscope, so there's potential for conflicts with in-laws, arguments with people over philosophy and religious matters and differences of opinion there. And you've got to be careful whilst travelling. If you're doing any travelling when Mars is in the 9th house of your horoscope, Gemini, there can be conflicts and it could be accidents and things like that. So just be careful there. Now, the first change that we have, Gemini, happens on the 4th of January when Venus moves into the 9th house of your horoscope. That starts a period of 2 or 3 weeks of a lot more social involvements with foreign people and also with in-laws, should they play a prominent part in your life. There's benefits for you through foreign travel and social activities with in-laws, and a lot of social activities perhaps connected with those who went through their educational process with you in some way, shape or form, and an interest socially also with people that you might be doing some adult education with. Now on the 5th of January, Mercury moves into the 9th house of your horoscope, and that begins a phase of more openness and communication with people about the different philosophies and spiritual growth and adult education and travel and things like that. A lot more communications with foreign people perhaps, and also with in-laws. Now on the 13th of January, Mars moves into the 10th house of your horoscope, Gemini. When Mars is in the 10th house of your horoscope, you can have conflicts and arguments with parents, stresses and tensions involving government departments, and it's a time of a lot of energy going into the career and business side of things, but you can overdo it, and there can be a lot of stresses and tensions there that come out in the form of conflicts with co-workers and a lot of tension and so forth connected with business matters if you're in business. Now then the 21st of January, Gemini, sees the Sun move into the 9th house of your horoscope, and the Sun is constant. It always stays there in a particular house for 30 days, whereas the other bodies move a little bit faster and slower depending on how they're going. Now, the Sun going into the 9th house of your horoscope on the 21st of January starts a 30-day period where you'll have a lot more social involvements with in-laws, potential for travel, and a stimulation of your interest in philosophy and adult education and spiritual growth and expansion, basically. Now, the next one is the 22nd of January, where Mercury goes retrograde. Now, when Mercury is retrograde, it interferes with communications. So it impacts in a different house of your horoscope than it does for other signs. So this is an individual thing for you, whether you've got the Sun in Gemini or whether you've got the rising sign in Gemini. You're watching this particular video, and this is an important message that your higher self wants to communicate to you about what's going on in your life and how you can avert problems and so forth, Gemini. Now, when Mercury goes retrograde in the 9th house of your horoscope, it means that plans for travel can go astray and be delayed or obstructed. There can be miscommunications with in-laws, and miscommunications also to do with philosophy and adult education and spiritual expansion and things like that. Now, it also interferes with 2 other houses in your horoscope that are different from the other signs, because Mercury retrograde impacts negatively also upon your 1st house, Gemini, and also your 4th house, because Mercury rules those 2 houses. So therefore, things that you're trying to get going from your own initiative will be obstructed, delayed, and you'll have all sorts of plans that you think are the best made plans go astray. And matters relating to parents and matters relating to the family and the domestic side of life also are in a bit of disarray, Gemini. Now, on the 28th of January, Gemini, Venus moves into the 10th house of your horoscope. That begins a period of a lot more social activities with parents, if they play a prominent part in your life, and also a lot of good stars there for you for business. It's a good time for job interviews if you want to make a change in your career over the following 2 or 3 weeks. It's favourable for you in dealings with government departments, and it sees pleasant social activities springing from the career or from the business side of things. Now, on the 12th of February, Mercury starts going direct again, and so those houses that I spoke about that are impacted by the retrograde Mercury, things start to go a lot more smoothly in those particular areas from the 12th of February onwards, okay? Now, the next one, Gemini, is the 19th of February, when the Sun moves into the 10th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. When the Sun is in the 10th house of your horoscope, you've got a tremendous urge to become more of who you really are, basically. You've got a tremendous urge for high achievements and for expansion in business, social activities connected with business, social activities more so connected with parents as well, if they're in your life. And the 21st of February, Venus moves into the 11th house of your horoscope. That's a very good time for you for the next 2 or 3 weeks, focusing through friends. Friends will be very outgoing in their affection, and you'll have a lot of happiness also through other people's children, should they play a prominent part in your life, perhaps through your children. And there's it could be to do with grandchildren if you're old enough. And Venus in the 11th house is very good for the formation of new friendships and for group activities and club activities and matters relating to community. Now, the last one we come to, Gemini, is on the 21st of February. 21st of February, Mars moves into the 11th house of your horoscope. So it's on the same day that Venus moves into the 11th house. Mars moves into the 11th house as well, and it'll remain there for 2 or 3 weeks. Now, when Mars is in the 11th house, there can be conflicts with friends, arguments with friends. Friends can be rather assertive and dominant in their nature, when Mars is in the 11th house. You'll be interested in a lot of group activities connected with sports, perhaps, if you're in that age group. And there seems to be potential for conflicts, accidents and so forth involving friends and other people's children. Now I want to look at the movement of Jupiter for you, because Jupiter is a very important movement in your horoscope at this particular time in your life, in January and February. Jupiter is around 23 degrees Leo, so it means that it's been in your third house, Gemini, for the last 9 months. So you've had a tremendous urge to expand your understanding in the last 9 months through study, research and investigation. And you've had relatives who've had a lot of social involvements with you, and neighbours perhaps. And a relative or a neighbour may have travelled with you overseas or travelled from overseas to visit, with Jupiter in the third house of your horoscope. But Jupiter goes retrograde on at the beginning of January, and it remains retrograde for the 2 months, January and February. When Jupiter is retrograde, it impacts negatively upon the third house of your horoscope, so matters relating to contracts and agreements, matters relating to motor vehicles. You've got to be careful. It's not a good time for buying and selling things or entering into contracts or agreements. It can see a lot of frustrations for you, generally to do with the third house of your horoscope, and also it impacts negatively upon other houses too, your 7th house and your 10th house. Okay, so the 7th house and the 10th house are impacted negatively, so that there can be secret worries in relationships with your spouse, disagreements, bad judgment, and some sort of disappointment there, perhaps through your partner or spouse if you have one, and also things connected with parents, and also things connected with business and career. So be very careful. It's not a good time for expansion in business and things like that when Jupiter is retrograde, okay? Now Saturn is in the 7th house of your horoscope, and Saturn being in the 7th house of your horoscope, it's only just moved in to the 7th house of your horoscope. So you've experienced Saturn going through the 6th house of your horoscope over the last 2.5 years, Gemini. So you've had a pretty rough time of it as far as work is concerned and employment. You've lost a job perhaps. You've had a lot of frustrations connected with health, difficulties and problems with your health. And so you are under the gun, what you might say, with Saturn in the last couple of years going through the 6th house of your horoscope. You've maybe had the death of a domestic pet or an illness involving a domestic pet. And there's been problems with employment. You lost a job perhaps. There's been frustrations for you over the last couple of years with your health. Now you haven't been brought to this particular video, Gemini, by chance. Okay, you've been brought to this particular video by your higher self, who reckons that you're ready now to make changes inside of yourself that you weren't ready for even a month ago. And you feel this inside of yourself. You feel as if you're reaching out to something higher than yourself to steer you in life and to help you through some sort of a crisis or something like that that you've been through perhaps in the last month or so. And this is what your higher self wants you to hear, is the impact and the message that's coming to you through this particular video. Now, all of us are charged with the task, Gemini, of bringing about change within ourselves. The only thing that's constant in the universe, Gemini, is change. And so we're all called upon to make changes inside of ourselves through the events and conditions of our life and through the experiences in our life. And change comes most times through the avenue of necessity. In other words, we feel as if we need to change inside of ourselves because otherwise we won't maintain our financial viability. We need to make changes inside of ourselves in order to hold the family unit together. We need to make changes inside of ourselves to hold that relationship together. We need to make changes inside of ourselves to hang on to that particular job. We need to make changes inside of ourselves to improve our health. And so this is where we make changes inside of ourselves, mainly through the avenue of necessity. There's another avenue too, that is the avenue of fear and pain. Now, you're never going to get rid of fear, because fear is a major emotion in the universe. There's only two major emotions in the universe, and every other emotion is a derivative of that. And they are love and fear. Hate is not the opposite of love. Hate is a derivative of fear. So the two main emotions in the universe, Gemini, are love and fear. And fear you're never going to get rid of, because fear is vital for your survival. Fear of heights, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of ridicule. These are the things that impel us toward change. And so we bring about changes within ourselves through fear and also through pain. Pain you'll probably never get rid of either. So through pain, emotional pain mainly, we bring about changes within ourselves. But it's much more elegant, Gemini, to bring about change within ourselves through the avenue of gratitude. Gratitude for what, you might ask? Gratitude to God, Goddess, all that is, for the gifts that they have bestowed upon us. They've bestowed upon us, Gemini, the gift of eternal life. We can never ever die. All of us have lived dozens and dozens of lives to get where we are today, and we go on living in this particular dimension called the human dimension until such time as we reach a level of relative perfection, and then we move on into higher states of consciousness beyond the human level altogether. And we make those changes inside of ourselves in order to be able to grow and reach and stretch. So the avenue of gratitude is very, very important. And another gift that God and Goddess have given us and bestowed upon us is the gift of being able to create all of the events and conditions of our life consciously through conscious choice. Now, most of us don't want that sort of responsibility, Gemini, and so we choose to create the events and conditions of our life through subconscious choice. All of us have the same raw materials, Gemini, and they are our attitudes, our beliefs, our thoughts and our feelings. And those attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings sponsor decisions and choices. And those decisions and choices, if our attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings are negative, such as if we're wallowing in fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurity and problems with our self-esteem and problems with our self-image, and guilt and shame and manipulation and domination and control, all of these are negative emotions there, and these are our attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings. Now, those raw materials are the things, Gemini, that create all of the events and conditions of our life. So if those raw materials are negative like that, what sort of conditions and events are we going to be creating? So what we need to do, Gemini, is we need to be able to spruce these raw materials up and to transform them into qualities, principles and values of integrity, trust, idealism, hope, love, forgiveness, kindness, reliability, integrity and so forth. So these are the things that we need to do in life in order to bring about changes inside of ourselves and to be able to become more of who we really are. Now, in line with that, I've got available from my website 12 CDs that are available for you to download. That's out of my first book, What Really Matters, a book on astrology, meditation and reincarnation, Gemini. And to give you an idea of the impact that these CDs are having upon people who are going through my intensives, there's another intensives 2 and 3, which is a further 24 CDs out of my second book, Coming Home, An Eternal Journey. And I won't go into details about that. You can go to my website and you can download a free CD there, number one. and you can see if you like that, because that is perhaps a message that your higher self wants you to listen to in order to bring about those changes that it regards as you're ready for. And to give you an idea of the impact that these CDs have upon some of my students worldwide, I just want to read to you a testimonial that has come in the last month. Dear Keith, now finally at last answers, real answers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The greatest journey of my life. Your lessons are exciting, challenging and empowering. As you say, I am now in spiritual university studying consciousness expansion, and you are my loved teacher. And what a teacher! Patient, supportive, encouraging and expert. It's as if you know at what pace I can absorb information. While some goes over my head or I just plain don't hear it, I catch up on the next attempt. I'm being watched over, helped along and encouraged all the way. The meditations are perfectly timed and emotional for me. I can see now, though, that my words fail to fully describe the impact that your intensives are having on every level of my life. For me to think that events and circumstances in my life were being shaped by outside influences appears now to be a weird dream. I'll never again see anything as I once did, but the impacts are much deeper and broader than that. The Transformation series is life-changing and stand alone as inspired individual works that will impact on me for the rest of my life. I feel they are so powerful. For my part, I will apply myself 110% to the task. What wonders will intensive number 3 hold? I'll find out. I can't wait to hear you talk about quantum physics and where it fits into metaphysics. The whole series is gold. Not for the last time. Thank you, Keith. Love, Lex. So that's one of my students there too, and I've got heaps of those sort of testimonials up there on the website. So go to my website and download that first free CD and see what you think of that. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, well then just put it off for 6 months or 12 months and come back. If it does mean something to you and you can integrate it, well then listen to CD number 2. And so that just gives you an idea there of what's available for you to be able to make those changes inside of yourself, Gemini. And by now, or pretty soon, the website address will pop up. So write that down so you can visit my website. And sometimes also, Gemini, I do offer what's called a free horoscope number 1. That is an analysis of your individual horoscope. Now, as I say, I can't always guarantee that that's going to be available, because when I do put it up, I sometimes get 40 orders in one day. And that means I've got to do 40 horoscope charts in that one day and then interpret what I see in those charts into a 7-page printout and send it to you. So 40 in one day, that's a lot of work for me, so I can't always guarantee that that's going to be available. But anyway, go to the website and see if it is available, and if so, you've got the choice there to be able to submit your birth details and have that horoscope number 1 done. And so I think that's about all. Subscribe to my videos, because I'm pumping out new videos all the time. 150 new videos will come probably in 2015, if I can stand the pressure. And it's nice to have this opportunity, Gemini, to be able to talk with you and to help you to become more of the giant that you truly are. I thank you for your attentiveness and look forward to working further with you should you decide to go further. Thank you.